What's up guys and welcome back to the channel. I'm Andy the Middle Age Gamer and this is the VFC Stock Arms P320 Tactical Review. Now, as always, let's stick the usual disclosure on screen, you guys get yourselves ready and let's jump right in. Okay, so in order that we're all on the same page, let's go back to the very beginning where all this started. Approximately 6 years ago, Sig Sauer USA sets up a new division within their company called SIG Proforce. Its entire task was to design and maintain their airsoft and training weapon part of the business. Now, do not get it confused with SIG Air. That is just their air gun or BB gun side of the business, okay? Now, of course, SIG Proforce wouldn't take very long to start work on their first initial product, which would be the M17. Now, initially, they did a T&E contract with WE, but WE basically did crap the bed, and yeah, that led them to go to VFC. And it's kind of a good thing, as the guide hop system within this is a patent of VFC, okay? So, kind of a good thing. Otherwise, God, SIG would be even in more hell with legal issues. Now, of course, over the next few years, they would release different batches of the M17, the M18 in the pistol categories, okay? Eventually ending up with, within the P320 family, with the X-Carry itself, this one. Now, the X-Carry is a culmination of all their little, how would say, tweaks here and there behind the scenes where VFC have been trying to get SIG Proforce to allow them to change. You see, SIG Proforce are the ones with the rights. They're the designers, they are the license holders, they're the ones who request when VFC are to make a batch or not. VFC do not have the license, and therefore, if they do not have the license, they cannot make any changes without permission of Sig Sauer. And we all know that SIG Proforce and Sig Sauer in general are just absolute arseholes to change anything. Okay? So, with that bearing in mind, VFC went off and started to OEM, not just for SIG Proforce, but with other companies such as APFG and with Parabellum. Now, Parabellum obviously did a load of P320s and are currently still releasing them, and they started off pretty poor, but have been getting better and better with each subsequent release. Right now, VFC are at this point where they want to make their own, but in order to make their own, they would have to do it under their own license. And so they use the one license that they have not done a lot with in a long time, and that's Stock Arms. They own the rights to that brand, so therefore they use the Stock Arms license and designed a P320 for you guys at a more affordable cost without all the markups for having SIG emblazoned on the side or anything like that. And basically, better performance, allegedly. Now, how did they do? What did they do? Well, let's do what we always do. Let's start with the magazine and work our way forward. Okay, so now we've had that introduction out the way, let's start with the magazine. So, the magazines here are 22 round extended mags with the tactical. If you buy the standard P320 from them, you will get the flush fit ones, which are 22 rounds as well. Now, you do see your seam line there. We've got the extended base plate part of it there. And yes, there is no logo on there, but there's really nice texture in here that allows you to basically grip and rip the mag out should you wish. But these mags are amazing. They do just drop free. Now, like I say, you do have the widened channel right here, so you can speed load should you wish. Your knocker valve is there, and your fill valve is right there. The markings on this are just there. You have your mock, I would say, rounds, which hold 21 in the real steel world. Obviously, you know, these hold 22, so it's not that far off. But because this is a gas tank, they're obviously just dummy witness holes right there. On this side, you will have 9mm written on there, just in case you didn't know what caliber this was designed to replicate. Now, we'll just put the mags aside. Well, we'll say that this airsoft toy is completely compatible with the Parabellum mags or the SIG Proforce mags. All of them fit, feed, and work perfectly fine. It's great. Now, let's move on to the grip itself, okay? As you can see, the magazine well here has been chamfered or angled to give you a better, easy feed, okay, which is absolutely awesome. And as you can see here, you have these, I would say, two textured sides of it. You have your side panels here, which have this lovely, what you would call a starburst effect, which is nice. They're not too aggressive, but they are there and they are very grippy, especially if you're wearing gloves. But you could wear it with bare hands, as you can see here, and not cut your hand up. Now, of course, they do include molding into the side panels here, which you can see clearly here, so you can rest your thumb properly right near the mag release, should you wish. And, of course, they've scalloped out here so that you don't have the actual trigger guard cutting into your fingers or out like that. Now, at the back of it, you do have this very rough texture here that helps keep it in your hand. And again, on the front strap, you do as well. Now, of course, the side panels are mirrored, so the other side looks identical to this. What that does is thin out the grip. Unlike the X-Carry, for instance, which is the thinnest version that SIG do themselves, which you can see here. If you put them side by side, you can just about see it there on camera. The new full design from Stark Arms is much more ergonomic, feels better in your hand than the X-Carry, especially if you're going to be using this as its intended purpose, as a race gun. Now, you do get your magazine release, and just like all P320s, it is reversible, so you can have it on the other side. Your trigger guard itself is nice and enlarged, and as you can see here, we do have a cool trigger. Now, you can see here there's a slight take up, and then about 1 millimeter. It's 1, 2 to the brake, and you're already at the back wall there. And then you've got your reset, which is 1, 2, and then another one to fully release. So very fast. Now, the good thing about this is it's adjustable. If you look in there, you can see there is 2 screws, one here and one here. That basically allows you to adjust the amount of over travel and where your reset goes. If you want a longer travel, you can adjust the front one and it'll give you more travel. If you want the brake to have a little bit of over travel or less, you can do it. Right now it's tuned just perfectly out the box, but I'll leave that up to you. The flat blade trigger is really nice and definitely designed for fast follow-up shots. Now, if we move up, you will see the markings on this side. It says Stark Arms right there. You've got your ambidextrous slide release right here. It's mirrored on the other side, and you have your main takedown lever. When it comes to the front, it is a Picatinny rail, as you can see. You got nice multiple segments there. And basically you have your nice serrations. Now these are very deep and very positive serrations for you. So if you want to press check, or if you want to rack, it's entirely up to you how you wish to do it. It's enough serrations there to give you enough grip. Now, moving on to the sights, you do get front and rear sights. The front is a white background with a green dot. They are not suppressor height sights, so are very difficult to co-witness if, like me, you're using a red dot. Speaking of red dots, there is your first top cover that it comes fitted. You have the RMR plate, which is currently in use on the pistol itself. You have the Doctor plate, which allows you to mount a Doctor sight footprint, or you get the Acro, which is quite nice. Again, if you're going for the new Acro line, that's entirely up to you. Now, the rear is slightly serrated. I don't know if you can see that there, which is great, especially if you want to block out the sun as it comes through. It helps diffuse the light on there, allowing you to easily find the front sight if you're not using your optic. But if you're using an optic like I am, well, it's a case of there's your dot. It's very easy to do. Now, at the front, you can see this is threaded. It is 14mm CCW, so you can put whatever muzzle device should you wish. That's pretty decent. Now, the cool thing about this, though, is the outer barrel and inner barrel are fixed. Okay, now if I flip this around, you can see it a little bit better on this side. The markings on the chamber there, 9x19, which is nice. You've got made in Taiwan because this is airsoft. But as you fold back, you can see yourself there. There is no bending of the barrel. Now, if I take this one here, With this, you will notice that the barrel starts to reciprocate back and then tilts down out the way. That is your Browning tilting action. That's been around since, well, forever at this day. But that whole action has been eliminated on this by giving you a fixed outer barrel. What that does is give you way better accuracy out the box, and you also eliminate slide drag. If you have, like with the X-Carry, a tilting barrel and you put a threaded one in there, the barrel is going to be pulling down. That pulls down onto the slide, that causes slide drag, and therefore you basically will have malfunctions out of every shot. It's ridiculous. Now in the real steel, you would fit a Nielsen device that gives it extra pressure and pushes the slide back, etc., which is fine. But in airsoft, we don't have that luxury. So what we use is fixed barrels. The better for accuracy, the better all round. And that's what this is, a marked improvement over the SIG Proforce line, let's put it that way. Now, in there, you do have your Salient Arms unique serial number right there. It's printed to the actual fire control group, which in the real steel would be your licensed part. Another change has been that they've got rid of the mock extractor pin here, the bolt that would hold the extractor here, and they've deleted the mock extractor off the side. Okay, so that's a lot better. Again, you can swap out the back plates here if you wish with the airsoft ones. There's lots of cool little customizing tricks you can do. Now that we've got this out the way, let's take it out to the range and let's see what she can do. Okay, I'm using green gas and 0.25 gram BBs for the P320 Tactical. All right, so 271.3 average. It's not bad. With 2.5s, that's not bad. Using 0.2s, it's going to be obviously in the 300s. Okay, let's move on to the let's take it back to 10 meters. Let's see what the grouping size is like. Apart from me rushing, not bad. Bloody good. Okay, let's move on to the Texas Star and let's see how good she is. Apart from me rushing, not bad. Well. Straight away, you can see an absolute nice tight grouping. We're talking out the box performance, 1.5 there, 1 3/4, just under 2 inches at its widest. That's not bad. That's 11 shots on target. Good on you, VFC. You've made an absolutely accurate pistol, which is brilliant, especially when it's all stock with no modifications. Now, here's where we get into the interesting bit, the internals. As you can see, as per YouTube terms and conditions, I basically disassembled this off camera, and now you can see this awesome piece of kit. So, right here we have the frame. All it is a big piece of molded plastic. That's all it is, just like the real one. This is a modular grip frame designed basically to fit the user. You know, so again, depending on what P320 you want to configure, you can just literally take this, yeet it away, and put whatever you want on. We'll show you the compatibility in a minute with the X carry, for instance, once we've gone over this. So the only part that's needed to remove in here is your actual mag release, and like I say, it is removable. There is a little button here you can push in, etc., and that allows you basically to take this out, flip it around, push it into the other side. But other than that, this is just the frame. It can be swapped out just like the real one. Put whatever you want. It's not the registered firearm, so that's kind of cool. Now, your actual takedown lever is a MIM part. There is a gasket there, which allows it to stay in place on your frame, which is perfectly fine. Your modular fire control group is basically all the components within it, all the pins within are steel. Every little bit is steel, which is awesome, except for the trigger part here. You can see roughly how this all works now. Okay, so you have a little grub screw here, which will push, well, basically stop you from going further back on your reset, so you can adjust that. But as you can see here at the front, if you want to give yourself a little bit more length of pull, you can just adjust this screw, and that allows it to move slightly more forward. Again, just micro changes is enough to make it more enjoyment for everyone, which is what you want. But outside of that, it's perfectly fine. Now, moving on from the fire control group, your guide rod and spring, well, the springs are steel, your guide rod is aluminium. It's fine, or aluminum, depending on where you are in the world. Your thread protector is steel, and here we have your fixed outer barrel and hop. Now, as you can see, this is basically pinned in place with a cross pin right here. It is not going anywhere. There's no rattle. It's a lot better in that respect than others. It is aluminium. You do have a small inner barrel in there that goes to around about here. Now, of course, you could put a more tighter bore in there. It is a standard gas blowback in a barrel for the pistols, so any Marui or VFC in a barrel will work. And again, same for the bucking. You can upgrade that should you wish. Again, this uses the guide hop to adjust, so when this is in place, that can be moved, and that adjusts that wheel inside. So the changes that they made with this is you no longer have to take this off to separate, which is really good. You don't have to basically remove your hop. You can just take it out, which is brilliant and a definite improvement over other designs that VFC have made. Now, moving on to the slide itself, the blowback unit is identical to the previous ones. There is no change there. If you wanted to, you could literally put a blowback unit that's enhanced from Garda or Lilacs or something like that if you want lighter or better performances. There are two steel screws in there that hold basically the blowback unit and the actual top plate together. So to remove this plate and put the other one on, you take these two screws here that are in there. That allows you to take this off. You can then slide that out, take this optic off and put the old plate or whatever plate and optics thing that you want to do, which is really good. Now, one thing I did notice with mine is that you have your optic. There is a lot of weight on the slide. And just like all the other previous P320s, if you overfill the magazines, i.e. anything more than 3 seconds worth of gas is enough to overfill these, where the gas gets agitated, the liquid comes up, that causes cool down, and it's basically a vicious, endless cycle that ends with this just pissing out gas. So fill your mags correctly, okay? 3 seconds of gas, no more, and that's more than enough with your extended or whether you use the standard, okay? Now that we've got this all put into pieces, let's get most of it reassembled, and we'll show you the compatibility, etc. on the rest. Okay, so starting with the frame itself. Like I said, both of these are pretty much the exact same thing. So if you want to, which we know everyone's probably going to, you can see that overall the frame lengths are the exact same. They're both of what we call full-size frames. They both have the exact same takedown levers and so on, so it's entirely up to you how you want to run this. But as you can see here with mine, this one has the manual safety set in. The X carry here basically means that unlike this one, which doesn't have it fitted, the X carry is not really correct. Now, many of you, when this came out, pointed that out. The reason why it had a manual safety on the X carry for airsoft was exactly that. It's airsoft. They wanted the training division to know the difference between the real and the airsoft, because no one wants to shoot themselves accidentally. And so therefore they added the manual safety. That's just the way that SIG requested it with the SIG Proforce and VFC through the chain, and that's basically why we have a manual safety. But if you didn't want that and you wanted to, you can actually swap out the fire control group and fit that nicely in, just like that, and now you've deleted the manual safety, should you wish. You will have that cut out there. That's something I can't get rid of, but it is there for should you wish. But that's the whole point. You can pull out the fire control group and just stick it in any frame you want. And again, if you don't want this, you can put vice versa. Now, when it came down to the Stark arms, you can just see here that they filled in the cutouts that were required for that manual safety because they weren't going to give you one. But if you wished, you could Dremel this out and use the fire control group with the manual safety, should you wish to put one on. That's entirely up to you. This is, though, designed as a competition gun and not a home defense gun or out like that. So, again, it's airsoft. It's not needed, but should you wish, you can. Okay, as you can see, we have the X-Carry slide here from SIG Proforce. And other than this being a shorter slide with a shorter guide rod, it's a two-piece part now, and apparently they put an extra screw in the blowback housing. The main difference is going to be the optics plate. The optics plate here is proprietary to the SIG Proforce because it's based off of the real steel. So yes, you can get the real steel plates, fit them on there, or you could get the universal plate that's out there, should you wish, for this particular brand. But as saying that, the ones that you do get with the Stark arm slide, these are not compatible with the Proforce, but they are with this, so you've already got this. You're not going to worry anyway. Now, obviously, it's a case of compatibility. Which one works with which? Well, we have the X-Carry frame, and we obviously have the Stark arms frame. Let's show you the compatibility by switching them out. Now, of course, I can't show you on camera me doing this, but let's take this and this. The SIG frame with the Stark arm slide. We can slide that on. You can hear it going on. There you go. That works. Let's take the SIG mag. Let's take it out to the range and let's test it out. Okay, as you can see, that works well. How about we take the Stark arms frame, let's take the X-Carry slide, let's do the same off camera. That actually looks quite good. Let's take the Stark arms mag and let's test it on the range. Okay, so as you can see, yes, it works. And just like in the real steel world, you have the one-to-one compatibility of being able to swap out slides and frames and fire control groups to get the design and the whole look that you want to see, which is brilliant that we share the same similarities between the real steel and airsoft again. It's great. Being able to build the airsoft toy of your dreams is absolutely amazing. So, with that, let's put these back to their normal form and let's get on with the final conclusions. Okay, if you've gotten this far in the video and you like what you see but you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. While you're there, hit that notification bell, like button, and consider sharing the video with your friends, etc. and doing all the YouTube stuff. Doing that allows me to put bigger and better airsoft toys on the table for you guys to make a more informed decision with your purchase, rather than waste your money. Let me do that so you guys don't have to. Okay, so we've gone to that part of the video where we put all the good and the bad points together and we come to a conclusion. So let's start with the bad points for me. The first and major bad point is going to be the magazines themselves. The whole design of easily overfilling the magazines. If you put like 5 or 6 seconds worth of gas in there, which would be normal for a Glock or a high capper mag for your 2011, you do that on this, you're going to be pissing gas out, it's going to get cooled down, and your gun's out of action for the rest of the day. That, to me, is a big annoyance. Now, if you learn the correct procedure and only fill it with about 3 seconds worth of gas, it will run 2 full mags of BBs, no problem, lock back on the second one easily enough, and you'll be very satisfied and have no issues. It's just about space within the actual chamber that the liquid will build up, and if you overfill it, it will just get sucked up and spewed out the actual blowback housing, etc., and it will not be efficient. So, just something to be aware of. I had it happen to me at Halo Mill, and I was there doing some filming, and of course, it started to piss out. If I've got that footage, I'll include it now. Gas. Warm you up. You going for your shotty, are you? Ow! Yeah.
It's too cold, isn't it?
It's too cold. Pew, pew, pew. Yeah, the seal's right. There you go. But you can hear it goes full auto because of it. Boom!
Cold.
Outside of the magazine, though, if you fill it right, it's great. If you don't, well, you're going to have issues. So there's your main first problem. Now, the other thing that I had is during the filming of this video, on the back here is a little plastic piece. It's attached to the actual fire control group inside, and that shot off under the recoil. It kicks that hard. Now, it's not really a big deal. If you've got a bit of JB Weld, just stick a tiny dab on the inside of it and stick it back in place, and it will never come off again. Just leave it for 24 hours before you do shoot it. Otherwise, you'd be doing it again. Now, other than that, those are the two major, I would say, things that I've seen go wrong with it. But I'm sure someone's going to probably call out the optics plate being proprietary. Here is, for instance, the Acro one, as it says there, and this will only fit this slide. To be honest, it's not really an issue, as even in the real steel, it's the exact same thing. A lot of people have their own little cuts and will either include their own slide plates or they won't. If you own the X-Carry and you have that one, because that is designed to be weighted and is actually weighted and shaped to be a training weapon for the real steel, therefore it uses the real steel optics plate system, and therefore you can use that. But on here, you can't, vice versa. So again, I have to say it, doesn't bother me, but that is potentially a negative, so therefore, there you go. And that, to me, brings all the negatives out the way. Now, what I will say is let's get on to the positives, because that's the main important part of this. It's actually got way more positives. For one, accuracy. You've already seen it. It's a very tight grouping, stock. Imagine if you put a tight bore in there, or a better bucking, or both, you're going to be basically shooting pretty much lasers, and that is absolutely awesome. The recoil on this thing is phenomenal, big enough that it can knock that little piece off, which is ridiculous. It's more felt recoil than in Glock, and definitely more than a 2011. The 2011s these days have just gotten smooth like butter, and the whole point of them is to mitigate recoil. With this, it does still punch you. It's got a nice big punch. and I do like that. The ergonomics of the grip for the Stark arms are phenomenal. It fits way better in your hand. It is a lot more comfortable to use, especially when you're playing all day long. And that's absolutely allowing you a better and more accurate shot. So you do have an adjustable trigger, which is amazing. Just adjusting those 2 screws allows you to get it to the exact pull that you want. Again, not many guns offer you that out the box as a stock. It's usually an upgraded part that you've added later on. So that's great. And then you've got the modularity. Being able to combine it with your other P320s, whether it's the Parabellum build or it's the SIG Proforce builds, you can just play around and build what you want, which is kind of cool. It's a Lego gun in the airsoft pistol range. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So that brings us to the end. I really do love it. I think this performs well. It's got potential, and I can't wait to see what VFC do with the Stark Arms license that they have. Hopefully it'll do more. Maybe we get some lightning cuts on the top, some ports or something. That's all going to be kind of cool. But yeah, that is the future, and we'll have to wait and see what VFC do with this absolute amazing piece of kit. I really do love it. It's a great training weapon, and it's a great airsoft sidearm. This currently is on my side now whenever I use my Rattler LT or my Spear LT. Whichever one I use, I've got this on my side. I really do know I can trust in it, and it is fast and accurate. So that's brilliant. So at this point, I'd love to know what you guys think. Are you going to pick one of these up, or are you going to wait and see if they do anything else with it? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, I've been Andy the Middle-Aged Gamer. You guys have been absolutely amazing, and I'll see you in the next one.